We live in an invisible hell, a system designed to keep you obedient, submissive, trapped in rules you never chose. But what if I told you Dante had already seen this coming centuries ago? Dante's Inferno wasn't just about punishment. It was a brutal reflection of the human condition. In the real world, chains aren't made of iron, but of beliefs forced upon you since childhood. The fear of judgment, blind obedience, settling for mediocrity. All of it was drilled into you to make sure only a few ever break free. So here's the real question. Are you actually living or just following the rules they gave you? If Dante were alive today, where would he place you? What you're about to discover might completely change the way you see the world, but only if you're ready to face the truth. Weakness isn't natural, it's taught. Since childhood, you've been conditioned to obey, to ask for permission, to fear judgment. In his journey through hell, Dante encountered souls trapped in eternal punishment, many of them never even questioning why they were there. In today's world, the chains aren't made of iron, but of invisible rules you follow without even realizing it. Those who rule don't play by the rules, they make their own. But you were trained to believe you must follow the path laid out for you, without ever questioning if it actually leads where you want to go. Dante's circles of hell were structured around the sins of each soul. In modern society, the circles are mental: fear, submission, conformity. Since childhood, you were molded to blend in, to accept less than you deserve. Be humble, respect authority, wait your turn. Phrases repeated so often they become unquestionable dogmas, like a psychological prison that only a few ever escape. Schools teach you to memorize, not to think. Religion teaches you to fear, not to strengthen yourself. Society doesn't want you independent, it wants you domesticated. Just like in Dante's Inferno, people become part of the system without ever realizing they could break free. But here's something most people never realize. Dante didn't stay in hell. He found a guide, saw through the illusions, and kept moving upward. To him, hell wasn't a destination, it was a test. And the same applies to you. What separates you from greatness isn't a lack of ability, but the conditioning you were forced to swallow. The good news? The cage is psychological, and you have the key. In Dante's Inferno, each circle was a prison for condemned souls, where they were punished for eternity according to their sins. But in the real world, these circles aren't physical. They exist in your mind. They are invisible systems that shape your perception and prevent you from taking action. The first circle is paralysis by fear, where the constant worry about what others think forces you to censor yourself. The second is conformity, where following imposed rules feels easier than resisting them. And the third, the most dangerous, is apathy, where you become so accustomed to your situation that you stop wanting more. Unlike Dante's lost souls, you aren't held by chains, but by habits and beliefs that keep you exactly where the system wants you to be. The greatest illusion of these circles is that they don't appear as punishments. They masquerade as social norms. You don't realize you're being programmed because everything seems normal. Fear of failure and the need for external validation make you avoid risk. Blind obedience, disguised as discipline, forces you to follow patterns without questioning them. And mediocrity feels comfortable because challenging the system demands effort and discomfort. Only a few ever recognize these prisons for what they really are, which is exactly why so few people escape. Dante had to descend into hell to understand the weight of human choices. In the modern world, recognizing these invisible circles is the first step toward freedom. But knowledge without action is worthless. You can keep following the rules and stay trapped, or you can start dismantling these layers of conditioning one by one. The question is, will you let yourself be consumed by this hell, or will you fight your way out? At the end of his journey through hell, Dante didn't stay trapped, he ascended. His passage through suffering wasn't a destination, but a path to transformation. The same logic applies to the modern psychological hell. Recognizing your prison isn't enough. You need to move. But the system is designed to ensure that most people never even try to escape. It offers distractions, superficial comfort, and the illusion that change is impossible. Just like the souls who resigned themselves to their punishments, many people accept mediocrity because they believe there's no alternative. But there is. And it starts with questioning everything. The first key to escape is breaking the conditioning. You need to recognize that many of your thoughts aren't actually yours. They were implanted in you since childhood. Who told you that you should wait your turn? Who decided that questioning is wrong? Who established that ambition is a sin? These ideas didn't appear naturally. They were taught to ensure that only a few would ever dare to step out of the game. The second step is taking action despite fear. Freedom was never meant to be comfortable. Those who challenge the system will be judged, but those who submit to fear will never control their own lives. Dante had a guide to lead him through hell and reveal the truth beyond the illusions. In your case, no one is coming to save you. You must become your own Virgil, challenging every limitation that has been imposed on you. The difference between those who break free and those who remain prisoners isn't intelligence or talent, it's courage. Are you willing to face the chaos of change, or will you settle for the false security of the chains you already know? Dante didn't just pass through hell, he used it as a tool for transformation. Each circle wasn't merely a punishment, but a lesson on human flaws. In the modern world, psychological suffering can have the same effect. It can either crush you or strengthen you, depending on how you respond. Most people see their struggles as permanent sentences when, in reality, they are tests to see who is truly willing to break free. The inner hell you face today might just be the key to your awakening, if you have the courage to go through it. But here's the truth no one tells you. Only those who refuse to learn suffer forever. In Dante's Inferno, the condemned souls remain trapped because they refuse to change. In real life, those who are stuck in fear and conformity keep repeating the same patterns because they never question their own choices. The system thrives on this stagnation, making sure that the fear of pain outweighs the desire to grow. But pain is inevitable. The only difference between those who drown in it and those who use it as fuel is the decision not to remain a victim of their own mind. Escape from hell isn't given, it's earned. Dante found his way out because he had the courage to face the truth, no matter how brutal it was. In real life, this means accepting that the only way to break free from the chains of conditioning is to challenge everything you were taught to believe. If hell is a test, then the final question is, will you be just another prisoner, or will you use the fire to rebuild yourself? If Dante were alive today, which circle of hell would he place you in? Are you among those paralyzed by the fear of judgment, among those who follow orders without question, or among those who have settled for a life far smaller than they could have? The brutal truth is that most people never realize they are trapped. The system works because the chains are invisible, and those who try to expose them are seen as crazy or rebellious. But those who truly wake up understand that there is no choice but to break free. Now that you see the invisible circles, the decision is in your hands. You can keep believing what you were programmed to accept, or you can question, challenge, and rebuild your own reality. Dante refused to remain in hell. He kept moving until he reached something greater. In the real world, the journey isn't made with steps, but with choices. Choices that demand courage, boldness, and the willingness to break free from everything that holds you back. If this video made you see something you hadn't noticed before, let me know in the comments which part impacted you the most. And share this message with someone who needs to wake up, because without realizing it, you might be holding the key to someone else's prison. The exit has always been there. The real question is, will you use it? If you found value in this content, leave a like. It helps YouTube recognize this message as important and share it with more people. And if you want to keep diving into insights like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Thanks for investing your time here, and I'll see you in the next one.